Hey there, future millionaires! Welcome back to the channel. It's so good to have you here again. I genuinely hope you're crushing it today no matter where you're watching from around this amazing world of ours. Today we need to talk about XRP, and trust me, you're going to want to hear this. I just saw something from Mr. Crypto Whale that got my attention, and honestly, it's got me pretty excited. Here's what he said. The same pattern started every alt season. Massive run loading, and the chart doesn't lie. Now here's the thing, we already know a massive run-up is coming. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. But here's why I think this next run is going to be absolutely mind-blowing. Bigger than anything we've ever witnessed before. We've already got institutional money quietly flowing into this space, and we're still at super low levels right now. Picture this, if we actually get clear regulations by the end of this year, and that's looking more and more likely, we're talking about full-blown mass adoption of crypto. That would be an absolute game changer for cryptocurrency prices across the board. You know what? All these people throwing around random price predictions left and right, I have a feeling they're all going to be proven completely wrong. I genuinely believe we're going to see XRP hit numbers that most people can only dream about right now.
XRP chart mirrors gold right before its parabolic run.
Okay, so check this out. This is where things get really interesting. People are now saying that XRP's chart looks almost identical to gold's chart right before that massive breakout happened. And get this, it's also showing crazy similarities to that legendary 2017 to 2018 crypto run we all remember. Look, here's the bottom line. We're going to see this breakout happen one way or another. It's inevitable at this point. But seriously, when you actually look at XRP's chart, I mean really study it, how can you not be absolutely bullish on this cryptocurrency? I'm telling you, it has hands down the most bullish chart pattern in all of crypto right now. Want some perspective? You could line this up next to Tesla's chart before it exploded. You could compare it to Amazon's early days. Heck, throw it next to gold's breakout pattern, or even that insane 2017 to 2018 crypto run that made millionaires overnight. What do all of these legendary charts have in common? They're all screaming the same thing. We are about to witness an absolutely massive run-up on this cryptocurrency. The patterns don't lie, and the setup is just too perfect to ignore. It's just a matter of time. XRP could drive the biggest economic shift in decades. So here's what everyone's buzzing about, cross-border payments. Vincent Scott, who's basically a legend in the XRP community, just dropped some wisdom. He's telling everyone to be patient while making this huge claim. He believes XRP and the XRP ledger are literally humanity's best shot at completely revolutionizing how money moves around our planet. Now, here's where I need to keep it real with you. Everyone's always saying XRP is going to move all the money. But honestly, that's not how this is going to play out. The reality is, it's going to be a handful of select cryptocurrencies that end up moving all the money together. And that's exactly why I never bash on HBAR, XLM, or XDC. Because guess what? They all have their own unique purpose in this brand new financial system we're building. Sure, XRP is absolutely going to move a massive amount of money, no doubt about it. But so is XLM, so is HBAR, so is XDC. Then you've got QNT acting like the glue that holds this entire ecosystem together. And don't even get me started on IOTA. That's going to handle all the machine-to-machine transactions in Industry 4.0. We're talking about cars literally paying other cars. How cool is that? Plus, Algo is another incredibly well-rounded cryptocurrency that deserves attention. Here's my point. You've got to look at the bigger picture, not just focus on one coin. I've always told you this. When you're investing in crypto, the smartest move you can make is to diversify. That's why I've always spread my investments across the ISO-compliant cryptocurrencies. It's all about building a solid, well-rounded portfolio.
Guys, this is absolutely mind-blowing. Ripple has literally positioned XRP right at the center of everything that's about to happen. And when I say November is going to be huge, I mean massive. We're talking about the XRP Endgame here, people. Everything, and I mean everything, is coming together in this incredibly short window of time. It's like watching all the puzzle pieces finally click into place. Let me break down what we're looking at. The DTCC handling $2 to $4 quadrillion in annual settlements. That's not a typo, that's quadrillion with a Q. Then you've got government policy changes, the Clarity Act, blockchain integration, Fed access, Fed master accounts, ISO 2022 compliance, ETFs, bank licenses, stablecoins, and RLUSD rolling out. Oh, and they're also citing the DNA protocol in all of this. But here's what's absolutely crazy.
All of these massive developments are happening over just a couple of months. When you really step back and think about it, that puts everything into perspective. This isn't just big. This is potentially the biggest financial transformation we've ever witnessed, and it's all happening right now, right in front of our eyes. The timeline is compressed, the pieces are falling into place, and XRP is sitting right in the middle of it all. This is what we've been waiting for.
Okay, so this is pretty wild. Does anyone else feel like it's Christmas Eve right now? Because David Schwartz dropped this tweet saying, "It's Halloween." Why does it feel like Christmas? And wow, the XRP community has been going absolutely crazy trying to figure out what he means. I've seen so many people speculating. Are they about to announce that banking license today on Halloween? Is something massive about to drop? But here's the thing, and I need to keep it real with you guys. David actually said that back in 2022, not this year. So he could have been talking about literally anything back then. We really don't know for sure. Look, we all know David sometimes drops these cryptic comments, and the community goes into full detective mode trying to decode every single word. It's part of the fun, right? But here's what I do know for certain, and this is actually pretty exciting. XRP is sitting at a completely different price this Halloween compared to where it was last Halloween. Think about it. Last year around this time, we were stuck around that frustrating 50-cent mark. Fast forward to today, and look where we are. That's some serious progress, and honestly, that alone gives me plenty of reasons to feel like it's Christmas morning. The momentum is building, and you can just feel something big is coming. You know what? I was actually there back in 2018, and let me tell you, we have come such a long way. There were so many complicated steps just to get your hands on XRP back then. But check this out. This comes from James Rule, and the headline really caught my attention. XRP, how to buy XRP, one of the hottest Bitcoin competitors. Now that's the kind of mainstream recognition we've been waiting for. When major outlets start calling XRP one of Bitcoin's hottest competitors, you know we're not flying under the radar anymore. This is exactly the type of coverage that shows how far we've come from those early days when most people had never even heard of XRP. So this article is actually from way back then, and listen to this. It's calling XRP one of the hottest new cryptocurrencies when it was sitting at just a bit over $2 per coin. Can you believe that? But here's what's really interesting. Even back then, they were saying it was harder to buy than Bitcoin. Why? Because XRP wasn't even available on popular apps like Coinbase yet. So get this. They had to walk people through this whole complicated process. First buy Ethereum, then transfer it to an exchange called Bitsane, and then use that Ethereum to finally buy XRP. Talk about jumping through hoops. And here's the kicker. Bitsane was apparently getting hammered with so much traffic that their servers were constantly overloaded. They even had to suggest using Binance as a backup option because so many people were trying to get in. Man, those were the days when buying XRP felt like you needed a computer science degree. Now look how far we've come. You can literally buy XRP with just a few taps on your phone. The accessibility has completely transformed, but back then, people were willing to go through all these crazy steps just to get their hands on some XRP. That should tell you something about the belief people had in this project, even in those early days. You know what's crazy? The excitement back then was no different from what we're seeing today. Except buying XRP is so much easier now compared to the hoops we had to jump through back in the day. I totally remember before XRP hit Coinbase. Man, that was like the holy grail everyone was waiting for. People were literally saying, all we need is for it to get listed on Coinbase, and then it's going to be absolute go time. I was actually buying XRP back then. This was late 2018. And here's the thing that still gets me. I missed that legendary 2018 run that everyone talks about by just a few months. Talk about timing, right? But once I finally got into this space and bought my first XRP, I was completely blown away. I started going down this massive rabbit hole, and let me tell you, it took some serious vision to see where XRP would be in 2025 from where we were sitting back then. Here's what's absolutely mind-blowing. Everything we thought would happen within just a few years is literally happening right now in 2025. But here's the thing. We got held back by that whole Ripple versus SEC case that kicked off in 2020. And honestly, if that case had never happened, we would be so much further along today compared to where we actually are right now. I'm telling you, even back then, Ripple was making some seriously big moves.
Things were moving lightning fast. But you know what? There's this interesting twist. I sometimes wonder if that SEC case, because it pushed Ripple to expand outside the US, might have actually been a blessing in disguise. Would we have all these incredible global rails we have today? All these partnerships in countries around the world? Maybe Ripple would have just stayed laser-focused on the United States if that case never started. We really don't know, but it's fascinating to think about.
Eric Trump strikes again. They're now calling him Eric Dump. Guys, Q4 is going to be absolutely unbelievable for crypto. I'm talking mind-blowing stuff coming our way. And of course, what happens right after all this hype? The market decides to take a nice little dump. Classic crypto timing, right? But here's what I don't get. Why would anybody be hanging on every word that Eric Trump says about crypto? I mean, come on. The guy literally has one narrative and one narrative only. Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. And here's what's really frustrating. When he does talk about cross-border payments, he never actually mentions XRP by name. He'll go on and on about how Swift absolutely sucks, how it takes forever for transactions to go through, and how ridiculously expensive it is to use Swift for international transfers. But then, and this is the kicker, he completely ignores talking about the obvious alternative, which is RippleNet and XRP. It's like he's describing the exact problem that XRP was literally designed to solve, but he just won't acknowledge it exists. But you know what? I've noticed a pattern here. Anytime Eric Trump opens his mouth and says something like this about crypto, you can pretty much guarantee a dip is coming. It's like clockwork at this point. So maybe we should actually be thanking him for giving us these buying opportunities. Expert. If this is approved, XRP will immediately reach $10. So here's what everyone's talking about right now. That OCC banking license. People are going absolutely crazy, saying that once it gets approved, XRP is going to rocket straight to $10 like it's nothing. Now, I want to keep it real with you guys. I'm not so sure it's going to push XRP's price up that quickly. Why? Because getting the license approved is really just step one, right? It's what happens after they get that license that we need to stay laser focused on. That's what's really going to tell us how fast XRP could actually hit these crazy price targets everyone's throwing around. But here's the thing. This is most likely going to happen smack dab in the middle of alt season too, which could be absolutely insane. Now, nobody, and I mean nobody, knows exactly when this approval is going to come through. It's like everyone's playing the guessing game right now. Some people are literally convinced it's happening today. Others are saying, nah, it's definitely going to be sometime in November. And then you've got the pessimists saying it might not happen until the first quarter of 2026. But honestly, even when it does get approved, I don't think we're going to see this instant price explosion that everyone's expecting. I think it's going to be more of a gradual climb over time. The real magic happens when they actually start using that license and implementing everything they've been planning. That's when things could get really interesting. So check this out. William Shatner is going to appear on Altcoin Daily to talk crypto. And they're asking, what question should I ask him? When I first saw this, my immediate reaction was, oh great, another celebrity jumping into crypto. And look, I know a lot of people in our community really don't like the idea of celebrities getting involved with cryptocurrency. But here's how I see it, and hear me out on this. I actually think celebrities could be exactly the push we need to bring way more people into this space. Think about it. When someone sees their favorite celebrity talking about crypto, they're like, well, if Captain Kirk is buying this cryptocurrency, maybe I should check it out too. Now, I know what you're thinking, but what about FTX? And you're absolutely right to bring that up. There's a reason FTX paid all those big-name celebrities massive amounts of money. They brought tons of people into FTX right before everything completely collapsed. Even Shaq ended up settling out of court, I think. Actually, quite a few celebrities had to settle after that whole FTX disaster went down. It was a complete mess. But here's the interesting thing. Despite all that drama, there are still people in crypto today who will tell you straight up that the only reason they're here, the only reason they got started in this space, is because of those celebrity endorsements. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, you know? Celebrities can bring awareness and new people, but they can also lead people into some pretty dangerous situations if they're not careful. And I know exactly what you're all thinking right now. Does William Shatner actually hold XRP? Well, I checked with Grok, and the answer is no.
There's literally no credible evidence that William Shatner holds any XRP. But here's what's interesting. Shatner definitely has a documented history with blockchain and crypto. He launched an Ethereum-based startup back in 2019 for tracking rare collectibles. In 2018, he was endorsing a solar-powered Bitcoin mining facility. Then in 2020, he was expressing all this enthusiasm for blockchain's potential and even had plans for a crypto-focused podcast. He's been releasing content on blockchain platforms too, like announcing a one-man show in 2021. And get this, he just launched his own token called Build on October 28, 2025 through Stuff.io. But it's built on Solana and Cardano, not XRP. So yeah, he's most likely going to be pushing his own coin when he does that podcast appearance. That's just how this space works, right? Speaking of how this space works, I know we're dealing with a lot of volatility in the market right now. Everyone's citing the same frustrations: market manipulation, constant crashes, and that age-old question, why am I not rich already? And you know what? I see it all in the comments section. I know some of you think I don't read the comments, but I absolutely do. I see all of you venting your frustrations, and honestly, I'm actually happy you're doing it. Here's why. If you're venting in the comments, you're getting all that frustration out instead of making emotional decisions. At least you're not panic selling at a loss or dumping your crypto just because you're mad about a red day. I'd much rather have you vent in the comments section than watch you sabotage your financial future. Look, it doesn't bother me at all when you vent. You know why? Because I have one single purpose here: to get you to the finish line so we can all get rich together. That's literally what I set out to do the day I started this channel. I genuinely want to get rich with all of you. And that's exactly why I don't try to sell you anything on this channel. I've always told you, whatever money you might want to give me, take that money and buy more crypto instead. That gets you one step closer to financial freedom, and that's what I actually care about. I want you to get rich in this space. I want you to achieve that financial freedom. I want you to make life-changing money. That's what this has always been about for me, and that will never, ever change. I don't come on here trying to get you to join my Patreon or pay for some exclusive Discord where I'm supposedly giving you different content than what you get right here on this channel. I'm completely transparent with all of you. Multiple times in the past, people have approached me wanting to set up affiliate deals or wanting me to promote their projects. And you know what I do? I run it past you guys first before I ever decide anything, because you all matter to me. I want to get rich with all of you, not off of you. So until we all make it to that finish line together, just stay patient and stay positive. All right, that's going to wrap up this video. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. I genuinely appreciate all of you, and I'll see you in the next one. Have an amazing night, everyone.